Dan Bongino, host of Unfiltered. Dan, I don't like this. This is clear. They saw video of this trial all week, all last week. The defendant even took the stand. I don't know what's taking this jury so long. This shouldn't take this long.
Yeah, I don't know either. This was a media case from the start. Jesse, this was never none of the elements of the crime here were actually met by Rittenhouse. Forget about probable cause or beyond the reasonable doubt, the standard for conviction in a criminal trial. There wasn't even reasonable suspicion here. This was a media case. This was a case fabricated in the far left media ecosystem. And you played it, Jesse, in the beginning. You see that little man on the street thing they were doing, that interview, and the guy says, man, the guy crossed state lines with an assault rifle. His dad lived in Kenosha. It was like 20 miles of a drive away from where he lived in Antioch with his mom. The only reason people believe that is because they heard it in the media. And one other thing, these prosecutors, man, could they be any more incompetent? This thing with the drone video, right, that they were just talking about, you realize what happened there, right? The prosecutor's like, oh, hey, we texted you the drone video, but you had an iPhone rather than an Android, so the quality wasn't that good. You texted him? Bro, you texted? Like, have you heard of a thumb drive? This kid's life's at stake. You can't put it on a DVD. You're texting him like it's a dating app. Like, what the hell is wrong with these people? This is the most gross incompetence I have ever seen in 12-plus years doing law enforcement.
It's not incompetence, though, because this is by design. Sure, it's sloppy, but they're cutting corners. They're rogue prosecutors, and this is how they operate. Remember the guy at the FBI, Kleinsmith, doctored evidence to spy on Donald Trump? Avenatti, he's like a convicted embezzler and shakedown artist. All these lawyers, what they did with Kavanaugh, I've said this on the show, it's an axis of evil between politicians, the press, and prosecutors, and they all do each other's dirty work. You got the prosecutor pointing an AR-15 at the jury, and they're supposed to go and deliberate after that? Come on, Dan.
Yeah, no, and Jesse, let me tell you, the constitutional republic can't continue like this, okay? No. Justice can't be blind to just Democrats. You know, like justice, oh yeah, our eyes wide open to Steve Bannon, throw Bannon in jail, but Lois Lerner and Eric Holder for contempt of Congress, they get to write a book or whatever. Like, that's not actual justice. And I'm starting to believe, though, you may be right, that this is not incompetence, it's malice. I'll tell you why. One other quick story about this prosecutor, quick story here. They didn't even measure the barrel. They're like, yes, this guy had a short-barreled rifle, therefore it was illegal. Did anybody measure it? Like, how hard was that? Go to Home Depot, get a tape measure, be like, hey, it's not a short-barreled rifle. The barrel was 16 inches. Like, is this really complicated? My 9-year-old in school is doing this stuff right now. There's no way this guy is this stupid. No way. It's got to be malice.
What did Peter Strzok say? You can smell the deplorables from Home Depot. They probably wouldn't even go to Home Depot. That's not the way they roll. I'm a little nervous. I don't like to admit this. I'm trying to stay positive here, Dan. But the jury was not sequestered during this trial. I don't know if what they were watching. Were they watching fake news? Were they listening to what their people were telling them? Were they intimidated? They weren't sequestered. This should not be taking this long after overwhelming video evidence that this was a clear-cut case of self-defense. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I've been perplexed by a lot of this. I mean, given that we already had a body of evidence that Kenosha, people were willing to riot there. Obviously, that's why we're seeing this case. It's kind of bizarre that you didn't have people then decide to sequester the jury to keep them away from seeing all this and influencing their decision.
You're right. Well, they manufactured the first riot with the Blake situation, and now they're trying to manufacture a conviction against an innocent kid. Dan Bongino, sounds like crowd's pretty pumped up down there at the Patriot Awards. Take it easy on them.